What's up? What's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Amit, and today we are going to look at how to create cool images using ChatGPT's latest image model. We're going to go through different styles, some with text, some without text. You've probably seen all of these flooded in your social media feed. Let's walk through how to create them, how to save you time by reusing some of those prompts. And with that, let's get started. All right, I am inside of Sora.com's interface. Some of these pictures that we're going to look at the prompts today are these ones. So I'm just going to go through these images. You've probably seen these all over your social media feed. This one is pretty popular. People on magazine covers is pretty popular. And then just like realistic looking images is probably the most popular one. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through some of these prompts. I'm going to show you some shortcuts. I'm going to show you how you can save some time using your existing images, remixing some of the images from the available library that Sora has given us. So with that, I'm going to go to this first one here. And this one says, obviously you can read all the text here, but what I want to do is show you the prompt. Now, the key here is sometimes you might find these prompts to be unfinished and you're going to wonder how the hell did this person generate that image with almost no prompt. For example, this one says use the same style of image, but write something about how much you love the 18th and Wine Art Festival in Kansas City. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Use what kind of image? So that's where remixing comes in. And before we get into remixing, what I want to do is show you how that would look like on the Sora image library. So I'm on the Sora image library, sora.com/explore. And let me show you a few examples. So if we take this first one here, you can see that it says prompt. And then if I hover over it, I can read that entire prompt. However, if we go back and click on this one, instead of prompt, it says remix. That means that someone took an existing prompt and remixed it to make their own. So that's why when I click on this, it's not going to show me this one. It's actually going to take me to that original one and then show me the prompt for that original one. Hope that makes sense. And if another way to get to it is when you're on an image and if you're seeing remix, click on the original image here, then you'll be able to see that original image prompt. So now if we go back to this image, you can see the word remix, and I'm sure you're following by now. If I click on the original image, this is what that original image looked like. Now you can remix this for your own purposes. So let's go ahead and do that. What I want to do here is I can either click on edit prompt or I can click on remix. And what remix does is it's a way of you to describe changes on this image. So if I like the style, I'm scrolling through Sora's library trying to find inspiration, and this is what I land on. I'm going to say create a remix. Now all I need to do is describe my edits because the author has already done the work of describing that image. So that image is already there. Now what I'm going to do is say, how do I want to edit this image? So I'm going to write a prompt for that. What I'm doing with the remix is I see a bull here. So that reminds me of the rodeo. So here's my remixed prompt. I look at this image and I'm like, you know what? I want to change this and let's write something about the Fort Worth Stockyards show and rodeo. So we're going to remix it. That's all you need to do. You click that remix button. Now Sora understands, ChatGPT understands that, hey, I want to take this image, I want to mix it up and give it back to the user with those new edits. To get to that image, what all you need to do is X out of here, go back home, and you can click on My Media, and then you can look at that being generated. Now in the top right corner, I can see that it's still being generated. So we'll go back to it as soon as we see the notification that the generation is complete. So while that image generation completes, let's move on to the next one. Oh, I actually see here it says image generation ready. So let's get distracted and go to that image so I can show you what it looks like. Perfect. So it kept that style of this paper, but then it did the remix. Now, when it did the remix, all it wrote down was Fort Worth Stockyards show and rodeo because that's exactly what I told. First thing to note here is the impressiveness of the text. It's finally got text figured out. Canva, I'm sorry. I think Canva should be scared. This was one of the big things of Canva, right? So, but it's great. I know it's nowhere near Canva. We will have to continue to use Canva for the unforeseeable future, but I'm sure upper management is scrambling because this was huge. AI models couldn't do this, and now we have the text. Now let's go back to the original image. Now this is the original image, and what I wanted to show you here is the prompt. And this is really where it comes down to is the prompt engineering. The more detail you are, the better results you're going to get. And this is where I'm going to show you how you can save some time. So this is the prompt. I'm not going to read the entire prompt, but you can see it's pretty detailed. And all we did is we remixed it. But when we remixed it, we didn't give it detailed instructions. So now let's try that Fort Worth Stockyard thing again, but this time let's give it detailed instructions. So how do I do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this prompt, then we're going to remix this again. And this time I'll go inside an AI tool and paste that prompt in here, and then I'll give it another prompt to enhance this with my theme. So my prompt was take the below prompt and tailor it for the Fort Worth tongue twister, Stockyards Show and Rodeo, and this is what that updated prompt looks like. Now we'll take it back to the poster that we are remixing and apply this prompt. So let's head back to that poster. All right, we are back to the poster. If you remember, I had clicked the remix button. That means I just want to make a duplicate of this with my own twist on it. And now before I hit send on this one, let me show you a few other things. First, you can hit add and you can upload images to guide the style of it, or you can choose it from your library, which is all your image generations go in your library. So that's the first thing to note, how to guide images. Then you can choose the aspect ratios between these three aspect ratios. So if I want this 1:1, I can choose that. Since this is a long poster, I'm going to leave it 2:3. And then you can also choose how many images you want to generate. Since I'm on the pro plan, not the plus plan, I only get a max of 2 images. But because I like to play with a lot of images and they keep getting added to the queue due to its nature of just being not as fast, I'm going to choose just one. And then finally here, you can choose some of the preset options. These were originally for videos and they still apply to videos, but they have left these filters open for images as well. I'm not going to choose any of those filters here. And then I'm just going to hit the remix button. So that's going to go ahead and add this new image to my queue. I don't know if there's an image generation limit on the pro plan, which is the US $20 a month plan. I haven't hit it yet, but I don't know. If you all know what that limit is, put it in the comments below. While we wait for that generation to complete, let's move on to the next one. This is another one I have seen quite a bit. So this one, the prompt is an image cover of a PS5 game on Trump's America with the cover style of Grand Theft Auto series. Again, if you want to redo this for your own image with your own concept and your own storyboard, same concept here, I would take this. You can either put this in your favorite AI tool, or if you already know how you want this to come out, you can just replace some of these words with your own and then hit send. So let's do this. I'm going to again try it, take it back to Claude, and I'm going to say the exact same thing like I did earlier, but this time I'm not going to tailor it for the Fort Worth Stockyards. This time I'm going to tailor it to my favorite show, which is Severance. All right, so what I've said is take the below prompt, tailor it for the Apple TV show Severance. Now it's going off, doing its thing, and this is what it came back with. So I'll copy this, and then what we can do is go back to Sora, paste it, and then hit send. And I also got the notification here, I think, that my image generation is ready. So let's go check out our previous image generation. Here we go. So this one was about the Fort Worth Stockyards, and you can see I think it's pretty good, right? The text is completely legible. There are no misspellings. The images look cool. They look like real images. They could have been actually clicked by a real camera. So it's getting crazy. I like this. And this was just one style. Now I can see that there is a typo here, but overall, I think it's 95% there. Now you could take this, put it in your favorite image editing tool. I would use Canva for this. I would grab text using the grab text functionality, get that text off and overlay with my own text, but it gets you 95% of the way there, which is awesome. So let's keep moving. The next one is this magazine one. And for this, it's essentially just you give it the prompt and tell them that you want this on the cover of Time magazine. So let's try this with our own images and show you how you can train the model to guide to your image. So I've uploaded a few of my images in here, and instead of Steve Jobs, I'm going to say me, and then instead of wearing an Apple Visions Pro headset, I'm just going to say something else. So let's just say wearing a Walkman on the cover of Time magazine. Now you can again get as crazy as you want with your prompt or keep it as simple. I've noticed that each one yields me a different result. Sometimes the complex ones fail and the simple ones succeed, and sometimes it's vice versa. So it's really a hit or miss. I haven't really perfected that prompt yet, but that's part of experimenting and learning how to use this new tool. While we wait for that image to get generated, this next one, which is probably the most common you have seen all over your social media posts, is you in a box or someone in a box, right? And for this one, you can see this was was a very detailed prompt. So we're not going to go through the entire prompt, but what I wanted to show you is some keywords that stand out, and that what we'll do is we'll compare it to the actual image that was generated. So let's open this in an editor where I can highlight some of the words, but I also want to see the image next to it right here. Perfect. All right. So for this prompt, what's pretty cool is if we look at this wanted poster, the little tiny harmonica, the little coffee maker, and all the tiny little details like the lonesome cowboy, these were all called out in that image generation, and we see them in that actual final result. So if I look here on the left side where I have the prompt, you will see here the lonesome cowboy was called out, then the wanted poster of the Daltons, which is here, a tiny harmonica also here, and then a classic cowboy coffee pot. Say that 10 times. Now that's the only thing that's twice instead of once. Big deal, right? Again, you can Photoshop some of these things, you get 90% of the way there. So you can try the same thing with your favorite characters, just remix it, or just take that prompt and begin from scratch. Then the next one is something similar, photorealistic Robocop. So again, I'll take the prompt, put it on the side pane so we can see how good did that image adhere to the prompt. All right, I think it again did pretty good. So if you look here, it says the figure stands on the left wearing his signature gray armor and a matte black auto 9 weapon. So let me get my little trusty grabber designer here. So let me get my draw freehand tool here so I can walk you along. So this is our weapon right here. For the second one, it says a miniature silver ED209 helmet. Here we go. Then for the next one, a shiny retro style vintage computer. That's right here. And a small LED OCP board with a pixelated glow here, and then finally the word Robocop written, which is right here. So you can see if you give it complex prompts, it knows exactly how to adhere to those prompts and give you that final result. Okay, let's move on to our next one, which is this disposable camera style image, right? So this one is photo taken on a disposable camera of a basement underground hip hop concert. Lara Croft is the lead singer of the band, and he is singing into the crowd. Wasn't not even a she. He. Oh no! The room is dark and the photo was taken with flash on, and you can kind of see that depicted in the image. Now, one thing to note here is sometimes you're going to be getting a message that we weren't able to generate this image because it violates our terms of policy. I've seen that quite a bit, like when I try to recreate movie posters, but then I see images like this using brand names or celebrity names, and that gets through. So it could be a hit or miss. Just keep that in mind. The next one is, this one is probably one of the best use cases for like random images for your website or social media, right? Candid, photorealistic, and slightly grainy and overexposed smartphone selfie taken by a group of beautiful Asian women, and then it goes on to explain what they're wearing, etc., etc. One thing to note here that was interesting that I wanted to call out is that smartphone is invisible since it's used to take the picture. So just keep that in mind if you want to experiment with it and you start seeing that camera shown in a selfie, then you might want to call out and be more explicit that, hey, the camera is invisible or the phone is invisible, since that is being used to take the selfie. Now, how could you customize this? I can say, put me in the background as I am photo bombing this image. And then I can upload my images and see how well it does adhering to that image of me as the character. So this time, instead of adding multiple images of mine, I've added just one image to see how good it would do. So we let that happen, come back to it, and let's move on. I've also seen these quite a bit, people on milk cartons. So this one is again a super simple prompt. So you can see there is a variety of ways people are prompting. It's either super simple or highly complex, and either ways Sora / ChatGPT is doing a good job of adhering to those prompts. This one is vintage milk carton with a typical lost person ad. Jesus Christ is the missing person. This is another style that I have seen quite a bit, is using the Pokemon cards and using your own flair to create those Pokemon cards. Now, before I move on to the next one, I wanted to come back to this for a second and show you how did it do with my prompt. So this was mine, and I'll put my prompt next to it too. Here's the prompt. Before I even begin with dissecting this prompt, notice that our text is pretty spot on. Now, if you've watched Severance, you will also get this reference here and this one, but if not, let me guide you through the prompt. So this character is from Severance. The actor's name is Adam Scott, but his name in the show is Mark Scout. So I think it's done a good job of depicting what Adam looks like, or Mark Scott, the character, looks like in the show. And then the prompt set show 3 of these different items here. So we have the Lumen handbook, a shiny black Severance chip, and a small desktop computer displaying the macro data refinement, which was essentially a computer where Mark would just play with these numbers, and that was his job. So again, it's doing a great job. So let's continue. We looked at these two. We looked at the milk carton, and while we go back to this one, I noticed that my image generation was complete. Now I had remixed this one to add me in the background, and I don't think it worked, because this is what it did. It just put myself back in the background, photobombing the selfie. I wanted to be in the background of this. So maybe what I need to do here is, instead of remixing it, edit the prompt and then mention it. So I'll try that. Let me go back here, and then I'll do this, put me in the background, and then I'll add my image from the library. Right now we'll remix it, see if it works. But while we wait for that, let's continue to this one. So this one is photorealistic close-up of a rare holographic Pokemon style trading card held at a slight angle. Only part of the thumb is visible. So you can see, as I'm reading this, you can see all these details in the back, held at an angle, only the thumb visible. Like that's crazy. Title is Dana Scully. And again, we can try this. So what I'll do is, again, take this to my AI tool here, give it a prompt and let it redo it. But instead of that, we are going to redo this for a different character. So I'm going to say redo this for Black Panther. Then I'll take it, I'll go remix that card and put this prompt in there to remix it for Black Panther. So again, we're waiting for those 2 images to be generated. I don't have high hopes with the one where I want to be inserted in the background in the selfie. We'll see if that happens. For now, let's continue. We only have a few more left. So this one, I've also seen a lot of this style of images being generated and videos being generated. And when I came across this, it wasn't written in English. So I took that piece of text, put it in Claude, got the result, and it says top-down realistic photo view of Van Gogh standing in the middle of a zebra crossing with many people blurred walking across. Long exposure, and holds up a sign. The sign says art is dead. Alright, so I asked it to redo it for Severance, and it understood the entire concept, and instead of being on the street, it redid it for inside of Lumen's office. So let's try that and we'll remix it. And then the last one, this one is pretty cool too, is how to create memes using ChatGPT's Sora. So for this one, it says do a meme from a mask with 2 panels where Hayao Mizuyaki says this is a fake while holding up a phone with a Ghibli AI art on it. The last panel shows Sam Altman saying yes, but it's a good fake. Again, take this, remix it with your own text. So these were some of the styles of what you can do in Sora. Now, a few of the things to show you here. Let's go to my image generations. So I'm just going to go to settings here, or I'm just going to go to my media. Things to note, if we, oh, this one kind of worked. I look kind of creepy in the back, but it worked. So that's pretty cool. From here, you can favorite it. And if you do, it'll show up in your favorite, or you can add it to a folder. If you don't have any folders, then you won't be able to add it. So let's go and create a new folder. I'm going to call it my best pick. I'm going to go back to my media, find this one and add it to my best picks. Now, why does this work, or what does it help with? If we go back to Explorer, what we can do is, let's take this one right here. If I want to remix this, now I can easily reference that image from my photo library, from my best picks. So if I go to my best picks and select that, then I can remix that image. Another thing to note, as you see, when I hit the remix button, I didn't give any prompt, which means you can remix the image, leave the prompt blank, and this way Sora knows that just take the original prompt, nothing else needs to be changed other than the image that you uploaded. I also see that one other image was ready for me, which is this one right here. Our work-life balance is dead. I kind of like it, but this isn't Milchek. So Milchek should be, maybe I need to put his real name in there. So let me try that. His real name is Trammell Tillman. So I'll edit this, and instead of Seth Milchek, let's put Trammell Tillman. We'll wait for that to get generated, but I also noticed that one of them failed, which was photorealistic rare image of trading card. Again, this one says content can't be shown because of policy misuse or whatever. This is the hit or miss part. Some branded names you can get through, like Dana Scully, but some you can't. So I don't know which ones you can and which ones you cannot get through. Just keep that in mind as you're doing this image generation. So while we wait for those last two images to get generated, what I want to show you is, again, in my media, you can add things to favorite, you can add things to folder, you can download them, archive them, and you can also view variations. So in this case, the only variation is this one right here, which was the remix. So I get to see that. And then finally, when you're on an image, what I was doing is right clicking it and trying to save it. And that tries to save it as a WebP file. But if you want to download this as a JPEG file, just click this little download button here. And also from up here, you can star it. So add it to your favorites, or you can like it. I don't know what liked photos do. And then you can also add it to a folder from here, or simply just archive it. With that, I think one of our two images were done. Okay, so that one, it didn't do anything because all I did is I uploaded this remix image here, but I didn't give it a prompt, so it didn't do much. All right, here's our revised image. I still don't think this looks like the real actor. I did a side by side here. So that's, again, that part I feel like is a hit or miss. Some of the images, it's allowing you to get those real looking actors, and some it's not. So that's the one thing I would say needs to be improved, and it's probably coming, right? This is version whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess 4.0. Stop! This is the version 4.0, so we wait for the next one. One last thing I want to try, I had this idea, let's see if it works, is uploading an image, or actually having AI describe an image and then trying to recreate it inside of ChatGPT/Sora. So I came across this image on Facebook, and this is an ad, and what I want to do is try to recreate this inside of Sora. So first thing we'll do is copy this image and have Claude explain to me what the heck it is. So describe the image, so that way I can describe that exact image to Sora. All right, so here's my image description. It says I see a Facebook ad, and it goes on and tells me everything about it. So I said, okay, now rewrite this as an image prompt for Midjourney. So what we'll do now is take this, go to Sora, let's go and create a new prompt. And then again, remember, you can change the aspect ratio. So I'm going to do 2:3. We're going to keep this an image, only one, and I don't want to mess with anything else. Off we go. So let's see if this final image works. Thank you for sticking around. All right, looks like our image is ready. Let's go check it out. And holy crap. All right, create a personal brand identity using AI. Let me put this side by side with the original one to see how good it did. All right, here's the original one, create a personal brand identity using AI. It did pretty much the exact same thing. Holy crap. I mean, I don't know where to go from here other than to tell you, go have fun. And there you have it, folks. That is how awesome Sora is, ChatGPT's new image generation model 4.0. Let me know in the comments below some of your creations, share them. I'll go check it out, and maybe they'll get featured on the next video. Until next time, keep creating.